Part 1. The Forbidden Blueprint Unlocking the Mystery of Dual Spirit Beings. There's a reason you've never felt like you fully belonged anywhere. Not in the light, not in the dark, not even in the middle. You've stood in churches and temples and felt the presence of divinity, but you've also felt something else stirring beneath your skin, something ancient, wild, and untamed. You've walked through rituals of purification only to feel more powerful in your chaos. And you've asked yourself the question that most don't dare to ask: what if I am both the blessing and the storm? If you've ever felt this paradox pulling you apart and yet strangely holding you together, you may be carrying something sacred and rare angel-demon hybrid power. This isn't fiction. This isn't a metaphor. This is an actual spiritual architecture encoded into a small group of souls who were born to walk between the realms. We are not talking about good versus evil. That's a binary built for people who fear complexity. We're talking about souls who were forged in both the fires of heaven and the shadows of the abyss. These are not souls who chose one side, they were chosen by both. And that choice was not a reward. It was a responsibility. Because when you carry both frequencies, your life will never be simple. It will be a battlefield and a sanctuary, a temple and a crucible, a mirror and a weapon. The first sign that you carry angel-demon hybrid power is the intensity of your emotional and energetic field. You don't just feel emotions, you embody them. Love doesn't just touch you, it possesses you. Rage doesn't just pass through you, it scorches everything in your path. This emotional depth often makes you misunderstood, even feared. People sense your energy before you enter a room. They feel pulled toward you, but also unsettled. That's because your presence forces others to confront their own duality. You are a living contradiction, and contradictions break illusions. This is why you've been called too much, too intense, too complicated. But the truth is, your energy is not too much, it's just too real for a world addicted to masks.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
The second sign is your attraction to both sacredness and sin, not in a moral sense, but in an energetic one. You are drawn to light, to prayer, to sacred texts, to angelic presence. But you also feel a magnetic pull toward the forbidden, the primal, the chaotic. You may have gone through phases where you immersed yourself in spiritual practices, fasting, meditating, purifying your body. And then, without warning, you found yourself on the edge of wildness, breaking rules, indulging desires, dancing with risk. This isn't because you are lost. It's because your soul was built to explore both polarities. You were not made to fit into a mold of purity. You were made to understand the anatomy of the full spectrum so you could transmute it. The third sign is that your life has always been marked by extremes. You don't just experience blessings, you experience miracles. And when you fall, you don't just scrape your knees, you crash into the abyss. Your relationships are never lukewarm. They are soul bonds or soul wars. Your spiritual path isn't a gentle climb, it's a series of deaths and rebirths. This is not a flaw of your destiny. It's a design. You were built to be forged again and again because each time you die, you awaken a deeper layer of your power. And that power cannot be accessed through comfort. It can only be accessed through transformation. You are not here to be safe. You are here to remember what you are when everything false has burned away. The fourth sign is your psychic sensitivity. You don't just sense energy, you devour it. You walk into a room and instantly know who's lying, who's hurting, who's hiding. And it's not always easy. Sometimes it feels like a curse. The weight of the world presses into your nervous system, and you feel like you're drowning in invisible storms. But this sensitivity is not weakness. It's a radar, a divine detector that was given to you because your soul doesn't just observe, it intervenes. You are here to transmute frequencies, not just feel them. But to do that, you must learn how to discern what is yours and what is theirs. Because a hybrid soul attracts spiritual interference like a lightning rod. And if you're not grounded, you'll mistake other people's shadows for your own. The fifth sign is your spiritual authority. Even when you were young, people came to you for guidance without knowing why. You could calm chaos with a glance. You could shift a conversation with a single sentence. And you've always known deep down that you carried something powerful inside you, something that scared even you. This authority isn't based on knowledge, experience, or titles. It's encoded in your energetic presence. Both angelic and demonic realms recognize you. They listen when you speak. They move when you command. But with that authority comes responsibility. If you are not aligned, your words can wound. Your silence can destroy. Your indifference can collapse timelines. And this is why your path is so brutal, because the universe will not allow you to carry that kind of power unconsciously. The sixth sign is your ability to hold paradox without collapsing. You can sit in grief and gratitude at the same time. You can feel compassion for the villain and rage toward the victim. You understand that truth is not always clean, that light can be cruel, that darkness can be protective. Most people need clarity to feel safe. You thrive in mystery. You can hold contradictions in your body without needing to resolve them. This is not confusion, it is multidimensional perception. It is the ability to see beyond binaries, beyond dogmas, beyond illusions. And this gift is what makes you a bridge, a translator between realms, a being who can walk through fire and ice and still carry water. The seventh sign is the constant testing of your integrity. You are not allowed to get away with what others can. When you lie, you feel it instantly in your body. When you betray yourself, something sacred dies inside you. Your karma is faster. Your lessons are harsher. Your consequences come sooner. This is not because you are cursed. It's because you are being refined. Your soul is wired for high-frequency service. And to hold that level of power, you must be clean inside. Not perfect. Clean, aligned, transparent. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be true. And the more true you become, the more unstoppable your presence becomes. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, do these signs feel like descriptions of your life, or do they feel like memories returning after lifetimes of amnesia? Because when you hear truth, your soul doesn't just understand, it remembers. And if this is you, then understand this: your angel-demon hybrid power is not a glitch in your programming. It is the original code. You were designed to hold both frequencies, not to be torn apart, but to become whole. The walk as a living paradox, to embody the holy and the raw, or to speak in tongues that only those with eyes to see can hear. But there is a warning. If you do not heal, if you do not integrate, if you do not take responsibility for this power, it will consume you. Hybrid souls often walk the edge of madness, and many fall. Because the inner war becomes unbearable when we don't know who we are. But once you awaken, truly awaken, you realize there was never a war at all, only a forgetting. And now you are being asked to remember, not just with your mind, but with your entire being. Part 2, the sacred storm within, walking as both the healer and the destroyer. To carry angel-demon hybrid power is to be both the seed and the fire. You are not just a healer, you are also a destroyer. Not in the sense of maliciousness, but in the higher sense of transformation. You are the force that dissolves what no longer serves, even if it means tearing down illusions that others cling to for safety. You walk into people's lives and, without trying, begin to rearrange their internal architecture. Your presence destabilizes falsehood and awakens what is hidden or forgotten. And often you are blamed for the chaos that follows, even though it is the soul of the other person that called you in to begin with. You must understand this. Your dual nature is a divine technology. It is not a mistake or a contradiction, it is a design. Angels bring order, compassion, light, and guidance. Demons, in their archetypal truth, bring disruption, temptation, shadow, and liberation from false constructs. Where angelic energy soothes, demonic energy stirs. And you, as a hybrid, carry both frequencies, not to cancel each other out, but to work in tandem. The angel in you shows people the path. The demon in you burns away the chains. Together they create a frequency that few can endure, but those who can are transformed forever. But with that power comes pain. You are often misunderstood, even by other spiritual people. You may have been told to pick a side, to be only love and light, or to suppress your anger, your lust, your chaos. But your chaos is sacred. It is not wild for the sake of destruction, it is wild because it is unbound. And unbound energy is life in its purest form. When you suppress this side of yourself, you become split, and the split leads to suffering. Integration is the only path to peace. But integration requires you to stop judging one side of yourself as wrong. Can you truly bless the part of you that disrupts, that questions, that rebels? Can you see your rage as holy, your fire as necessary? Sometimes, the most angelic thing you can do is become the demon that speaks the truth no one else will say. There are moments when love must roar, when compassion must confront, when peace must be shattered in order to be rebuilt on truth. You are not here to keep the world comfortable. You are here to awaken it, and awakening is violent to illusions. That's why your life is often felt like a war zone, not because you are broken, but because you are breaking patterns that have lasted lifetimes. And the first pattern you must break is the one that tells you to hide parts of yourself to be accepted. Let us speak now of spiritual responsibility. When you carry both angelic and demonic codes, you are a spiritual amplifier. Your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, these are not small. They ripple into the collective faster and further than most. When you are aligned, your energy heals rooms. When you are unaligned, your energy distorts timelines. That is not exaggeration. That is energetic law. So you must become a master of your inner world, not to control it, but to know it. Self-awareness is your shield. Integrity is your sword. Without them, your power will turn against you and those you love. And this is why your path has never allowed for shallow living. You've tried casual jobs, casual relationships, casual spirituality, but you always end up in the deep end. Because your soul is too ancient to live on the surface. You are not here to blend in. You are here to pierce. And your life reflects that. The betrayals you've endured, the initiations you didn't choose, the dark nights that nearly broke you, these were not punishments. They were calibrations. Each one was shaping you into a vessel that could hold extremes without losing your center. Because when you can hold both ecstasy and agony without collapsing, you become a channel for divine power the world has rarely seen. Have you noticed that the world tries to put you in a box, but no box ever fits? You're not just an empath, not just a warrior, not just a mystic. You are all of it and more. You are the exception to every rule. And that's not arrogance, it's remembrance. The rules were never made for you. They were made for those who needed structure. But you, beloved, were born to be the structure. You are the architecture of a new spiritual frequency. One that does not flinch at darkness or romanticize light. One that holds both in reverence. You've also likely experienced spiritual envy or projection from others. People feel your power and either idolize you or try to diminish you. They sense that you are different, but they don't know why. Let me tell you why. You carry the codes of both liberation and destruction. You are the death and the resurrection. And people feel that. Even if they don't have the words, their soul recognizes what you are. That's why some are drawn to you obsessively, while others are repelled. You are not here to be palatable. You are here to be catalytic. But let's go deeper. Have you ever asked yourself, why was I chosen to hold both angelic and demonic codes? Why me? The answer is complex, but part of it lies in your soul lineage. You are likely not from this realm. Your consciousness may originate from higher planes or older worlds, realms where duality was not seen as opposition, but as balance. You came here to embody that ancient truth in a world still addicted to separation. That makes you a threat to systems built on polarity. But it also makes you a beacon to those ready to awaken. You must now start seeing yourself not as a person with spiritual experiences, but as a spiritual force having a human experience. That shift in identity changes everything. You are not here to fit in. You are here to anchor a frequency that has not existed on this planet in fullness until now. That frequency is the integration of shadow and light, of wrath and mercy, of sacred rage and holy love. You are the walking embodiment of that integration. And the world needs you to own it. But ownership requires practice. You must learn to channel your hybrid energy consciously. That means having tools to ground your fire and expand your light. Daily rituals, energy hygiene, inner child work, shadow work, these are not optional. They are your lifelines. Because your soul came into this body with more voltage than most. And unless you create systems to regulate that voltage, It will either fry your nervous system or cause spiritual burnout. You must treat your body as the temple of a multidimensional being, because that's exactly what it is. And remember this, your triggers are your teachers. When your angelic side is triggered, you may become overly self-sacrificing, passive, or avoidant of conflict. When your demonic side is triggered, you may become reactive, manipulative, or emotionally volatile. Neither is wrong, but both require integration. Can you hold your triggers with love without letting them take the wheel? Can you listen to the voice inside you that wants to burn it all down and ask it why it's angry, rather than silencing it? Integration is not about control. It's about intimacy with every part of you. In relationships, your hybrid nature makes you both magnetic and complex. You crave depth, intensity, truth. Shallow connections bore you. Lies repel you. But you also struggle with vulnerability because your soul remembers betrayal from lifetimes. You love fiercely, but you test people sometimes unconsciously because you need to know they can hold your depth. And when they can't, you retreat or destroy the bond, even if part of you longs for connection. This is the paradox of the hybrid. You want to be known, but fear being exposed. You want to be seen, but fear being misunderstood. And yet your deepest healing will come not through solitude alone, but through finding those who can see all of you and stay. So pause now and ask yourself, where am I still rejecting my own power? Where am I still trying to be either angel or demon instead of both? Because your liberation begins the moment you stop choosing sides. Part 3. Beyond the veil, becoming the living temple of dual power. Now that you've remembered the truth of your nature, the question shifts from why am I like this to what will I do with what I am? Because knowing is not enough. Recognition is only the first threshold. The real work, the sacred work, begins with embodiment. The world doesn't need more people who know they are powerful. It needs more people who live as if their power is sacred. You are not being asked to perform your light or suppress your shadow. You are being called to become the living temple where both sides kneel at the same altar. To become this temple, you must first reframe how you see your inner chaos. Chaos is not disorder. It is potential energy, raw, unshaped, untamed. Angelic energy brings structure, order, and divine will. Demonic energy brings raw life force, passion, and transformation. When these two meet in sacred union within you, you become the alchemist. You are no longer ruled by either discipline or desire. You become the architect who knows when to destroy and when to build. But this requires discernment, and discernment is born from stillness. If you do not create inner stillness, your hybrid power will react instead of respond, and that difference is what separates destruction from transformation. You must also release the fantasy of being fully understood. Hybrid souls often carry the wound of being misread, even within spiritual communities. But if you spend your life trying to explain yourself to those who cannot see beyond binaries, you will waste your essence. Not everyone is meant to decode you. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be medicine. And medicine doesn't always taste sweet, it sometimes stings before it heals. You were not designed to be everyone's teacher. You were designed for those ready to remember their own forgotten power when they stand in your presence. Your energy awakens what is buried. That is your gift. And sometimes that gift makes others uncomfortable before it sets them free. The next stage of integration is sacred neutrality. This doesn't mean indifference. It means becoming the observer who is not pulled by emotional tides, but who understands them deeply. Your angelic side wants to heal the world. Your demonic side wants to burn down what's false. Sacred neutrality is the middle ground, the space where you act not from impulse, but from alignment. You begin to ask, is this coming from my ego or from my essence? Is this truth, or is this unresolved trauma dressed in righteousness? You stop reacting from pain and start creating from presence. And in that shift, your power becomes not just magnetic, it becomes evolutionary. Let's talk about your voice. Your voice is not just sound. It is frequency, and frequency is power. When you speak, you are either casting spells that liberate or ones that bind. Your hybrid nature gives you a tongue that can cut through illusions or curse your own path. This is why you must take radical responsibility for your words. Do not speak when your heart is closed. Do not promise what your soul is not aligned with. Do not diminish your truth to comfort others. And do not weaponize your shadow to win battles that don't matter. Every word you speak sends ripples into unseen worlds. Know that. Honor that. Use your voice as a sacred tool, not a reflexive habit. You are also carrying a unique blueprint for leadership. But your leadership will not look traditional. It will not always be visible. Sometimes your leadership is in the way you hold space for chaos to transform. Sometimes it's in the way you refuse to participate in spiritual bypassing. Sometimes it's in your silence, your presence, your refusal to shrink. People follow your energy long before they follow your words. So lead with frequency first. Let your aura say what your mouth cannot. Let your integrity speak louder than your content. Let your choices preach louder than any sermon. You are not here to just teach, you are here to embody a new paradigm of power that is rooted in both love and fire. Have you noticed the way life tests you more than others? The way the universe seems to put you through spiritual initiations that feel impossibly brutal. This is not because you are cursed. It is because your soul chose mastery. And mastery is not given. It is earned through the fires of collapse and the waters of surrender. Every time you face a part of yourself that you used to run from, you reclaim power. Every time you hold yourself in the middle of a breakdown, you rewire your field. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you become more luminous. These are not dramatic moments. They are quiet revolutions. And they are what make you worthy of holding what you hold. Let's go deeper into relationships, because this is where your dual nature often creates the most friction. You don't just want love, you want divine union. You want someone who can see every part of you, the angel who weeps for the world, and the demon who would burn it down and still say, I see you, all of you, and I choose you. That is rare, but it is not impossible. The key is this: you must first marry those parts within yourself. If you still reject your shadow, you will attract partners who punish it. If you still fear your light, you will attract lovers who dim it. But when you stand in the sacred center of your being, whole and unapologetic, you become a beacon for those who are doing the same. And from there, love becomes not a transaction, but a temple. You are also a guardian of spiritual truth. That is why lies affect you more deeply than most. You may feel physically ill when people are pretending, when teachings are distorted, when manipulation is cloaked in love and light language. Your body knows. Your energy field contracts. This is because the angel in you honors divine law, and the demon in you recognizes the cost of breaking it. You are here to protect what is real. Even if your voice shakes, even if you lose followers, even if it costs you relationships, truth is your compass, not popularity. And when you live by truth, everything that is false will crumble around you. Let it. Do not mourn what cannot walk in your frequency. But what about your mission? What are you really here to do? That question may haunt you, but the answer is not a job title. It is a vibration. Your mission is to be what you are, fully, fearlessly, unapologetically. And from that being, your doing will emerge. Some of you are meant to be healers, others artists, others destroyers of systems, others guides of the unseen. But all of you are meant to embody the integration of polarities. That is the mission. To show the world that wholeness is not perfection, it is truth without censorship. Now ask yourself this: what part of me have I still not allowed to exist? What energy within me have I judged as unworthy of the divine? Your liberation lives inside those questions. The parts you've shamed are the parts holding your next level of power. The parts you've silenced are the parts that hold your voice. The parts you've exiled are the parts that lead you home. To be whole, you must welcome them to the table, not as problems to fix, but as pieces of the sacred puzzle. You are not here to be tamed. You are here to be true. That truth will make people uncomfortable. It will challenge systems. It will ignite revolutions. But it will also awaken the sleepers. It will remind others of what they've buried. It will become a doorway through which others remember their own hybrid nature. And that is your greatest gift, not what you do, but what you are. A walking contradiction, a holy paradox, a divine storm wrapped in flesh. So now we end where we began. You were not born broken. You were born complex. You are not lost. You are layered. You are not too much. You are too real for the false to understand. And the more you accept that, the more your world will rearrange itself around your truth. You are the angel who remembers the darkness. You are the demon who remembers the light. You are the fire that heals and the water that burns away illusion. You are the middle path between extremes, and that, beloved, is your power.